This training will provide a brief overview of EMIS maintenance, covering the screens and student information that will require attention for ODE reporting purposes. And as a reminder, if you are following along in the system for training purposes, please make sure that you are in your district's play database. Now, before beginning maintenance on your EMIS screens, you will want to make sure that you run CTERM EMIS in update mode to ensure that all necessary records have been created. You can access EMIS maintenance by navigating to Student Information, EMIS, Maintenance, and this will show you the screens that we're going to reference in today's training. For this training, I am going to be using the Student Information EMIS guide that you can locate in the help section of Student Information. This guide explains how to use student information at the district level to gather student-related EMIS data and transfer the data to ODE to complete your district's EMIS reporting requirements. For this training, we're going to review EMIS maintenance. The first screen that you'll look at is maintaining your district and building information. You can update district testing, your year-end DT records. I'm going to come right back up here again. You're going to update your year-end DT records, your district organization info or your DN records, and also your building organization info through your DN records. Now for this information, I'm going to reference the FY22 period checklist as well, because that checklist provides some helpful information on these records. So at the district level, you will access EMIS, Maintenance, District and Building Information, and select your district testing screen. You can click Add Information, and you'll have a screen here where you can enter in your district testing information. You'll enter the grade level that was assessed, the local assessment number, the number of students that take the assessment, the assessed students with disabilities headcount. You'll enter whether or not your whether your district administered with accommodations or modifications, and if so, the head count of students that received accommodations. You'll select whether or not the alternate assessment was provided and the number of students that took the alternate assessment. Then when you click Save, a record will be created for you on the DT screen. Looking at the DN records, you'll navigate to the same screen and select the following tab. On this screen, there is quite a bit of information that will be entered. We're going to reference the checklist for the DN records just because it goes into a lot more detail. So looking at the checklist, each of the items on the DN tab has been reorganized to flow better, and each section indicates when the attributes in that section need to be reported. So they are not all reported at the same time. However, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and enter the information when you have it available, and ODE will pull that information whenever they require it for reporting. The delivery model, hardware, and connectivity are all reported on this screen. So you're going to enter if you, I apologize, you're going to enter in how you are delivering education to your students. You're going to enter if you provide hardware to your students, and you're also going to enter if you provide Wi-Fi access to your students outside of your building. The medical group, this is going to be added at a later date. But you will be reporting on this screen the number of glucagon that is procured by your district. Student groups, in this screen, there are several student groups that you will enter counts for your district. You also will enter your local wellness policy on this screen, in addition to the preschool special education agreements. Comprehensive eye exams will be entered on this screen for students with an IEP. For SOES only, you will enter that on the screen as well. You will enter college credit plus student counts and also assessment group counts on this screen. The building organization info on the DN tab. Each of the items on this tab has also been reorganized to flow better. Likewise, it may not all be reported at the same time, but you can enter this information when it becomes available to you. You're going to enter the physical education performance measures on this DN tab. The S checklist provides a lot of information on what should be entered for these students. You will select here if your building is participating in the physical education pilot program, and you will also report on the screen the positive behavior implementation status for your district. For district testing, you will create a record for each off-year assessment test administered for each grade level. If you do not have any test records to be reported, a single record must be reported with the NT none tested value. The third grade guaranteed assessments are not included in the DT records. Those should be reported separately. So on the district testing records, like we covered in the other checklist, you'll enter this information and save it. And that covers the district and building information. Next, we will review updating EMIS term dates. For this, you'll navigate to EMIS Maintenance EMIS term dates, and you can, in this screen, define alternative stop and start dates for course terms that are used in the verify and update course and class list process. So by selecting a building, you can change what start date and stop date that building is going to be using. And then when you run your C-term EMIS process, it will use the alternate dates instead of the course term dates that were entered. Updating mapped local classroom codes. This can also be found in the EMIS maintenance menu. These mapped local classroom codes are records that are going to combine students from 2 or more classes to look like a single class. So when you combine students from one class to another, the students are then reported to EMIS as part of the new classroom, and the original classroom is not reported to EMIS. There are rules that need to be followed when you map courses. Both classes must have the same building IRN and the same subject code, curriculum element, employee ID, delivery method, educational option, and student population. And the mapping process is only for classes with a semester code of 1, 2, or 3. The documentation does review different scenarios that you can reference for mapping your courses. On the Map Local Classroom Code screen, you're simply going to select Add Map Local Classroom Code. You'll choose the class that you want to map from, and then in the drop-down, the class that you want to map to. Once you click Save, a record will be created that shows you your mapped classes. View discipline. Under the maintenance screen, you can select a student, so you must have a student in context, and then you will be able to review that student's discipline records. Updating the student withdrawal override. This is the FC record. This record is used to report students who were withdrawn in a prior year, but were not reported as withdrawn. So you can go in to adding the student withdrawal override record, enter the reporting period that you wish to report this withdrawal in, the student's SSID, the last name, the first name, the withdrawal date that you wish to report, and then the correct withdrawal reason that you wish to report to ODE. You can enter comments if you would like, and then click Save, and that's going to create a record that will report to ODE. You will see a confirmation message that the student missing record override was created, and then you'll see that displayed on the list. So you can go into the screen to see any of these student withdrawal override records that have been created for your district. Maintaining teacher history records can be accessed from the maintenance screen as well. For editing teacher history dates, you can change the start and stop dates of the teacher history record for course sections. So on the teacher history maintenance screen, start and stop dates tab, select the school of the course whose teacher history you want to edit, or you can select all schools by selecting the checkbox in the header. Enter or select the new teacher history start and stop dates on course section records in the selected school as follows. Here's a screenshot that shows you. You're going to change the start date and then put in the new start date. And if you were changing the stop date, you put in the original stop date and then the new stop date that you would like to use. Once you click submit, a message is going to ask if you're sure you want to edit the dates, and you click OK. And then a confirmation message will display, and the teacher history records will be updated. You can also recreate teacher history records by going through the teacher history maintenance screen. And if needed, you can delete all existing course section teacher history records and recreate them. So this process does not update any course section with missing teacher items. You must first add the meeting times. On the teacher history maintenance screen, the Wipe and New tab, you can select the school for which you want to recreate teacher history records, or you can select all schools. If you have a building in context, the building will automatically be selected. And before you can run this process, the building schedule must be finalized, and that will be indicated by the green dot in the finalized schedule column. Then you simply click Wipe and New. A message will display asking if you're sure you want to recreate the records. Once you select OK, a confirmation message will display with the number of records that were recreated. Add missing teacher history records also through the teacher history maintenance screen. So if your course sections do not have teacher history records, you can go ahead and add them through this screen. This process does not update any course section with missing meeting times. So you need to make sure that the meeting times are entered before performing this step. On the teacher history maintenance screen, add missing tab, select the schools you wish to create records for, or you can select all schools. Again, the schedule needs to be finalized before this process can be run. A message displays asking if you're sure you want to add the missing teacher history records. Click OK to verify, and then a confirmation message will display with the number of records that were added. Next, we will review updating vocational correlated records. Through the maintenance screen, you select vocational correlated records, and these are used by by the Career Tech Department of ODE to show that the courses are tied together to form a vocational program. The CTERM EMIS update process creates the course master records that are used to create these records. So if none exist, please run CTERM EMIS in update mode and then try again. On the vocational correlated records screen, you'll click the green button to add a record. The add version of the screen displays, and then the drop-down list on this screen only contains courses with an EMIS allowable curriculum value. So here you can select the courses that you would like correlated and click Save. A confirmation message displays, and the vocational correlated record displays in the list. Through this screen, you can also see a list of the records that you already have created. Next, updating the student acceleration records. These are the FB records. You can access through SIS, student assessment, and then the student acceleration record. With a student in context on this screen, you can click Add a Student Acceleration Record. You will then select the assessment area, the accelerated level counts, the accelerated assessment flag, and enter the accelerated assessment accountability IRN. Then you click Save. A confirmation message will display, and a new FB record will display in the list for that student. Updating attendance patterns, you'll navigate to Management, School Administration, EMIS, Attendance Pattern Maintenance. With the district in context on this screen, you can click Add Attendance Pattern and fill out the criteria on this screen to enter the attendance pattern code field, the attendance pattern description field, and then click Save. The confirmation message will display, and your new attendance pattern will be displayed. Navigating to EMIS, Maintenance, and Student Staff Classroom, you can view course records. Student Staff Classroom records do not exist until you run CTERM EMIS, so please make sure that that has been completed. You should only use the process described in this topic to view the records. If you need to edit the records, make the changes in the source data instead of here. So on the Student Staff Classroom screen, select either the teacher or local classroom code option, depending on how you want to search for the records. In the corresponding drop-down list, select the teacher or course as appropriate and click search. Here's an example of what this screen will look like, and you can view the information for that course. By clicking previous and next, you can cycle through the courses. And this is like was mentioned previously, this is simply for viewing information, not for making changes. Viewing a student subject records, navigating to EMIS maintenance student subject record. You can place a student in context and then view their current subject records. Again, CTERM EMIS will need to be run, and this is only used to view records, not to edit. Here's an example of the student subject record screen. And finally, view student subject records by class. Navigating to EMIS maintenance student subject record by class, you can look up and view student subject records. CTERM EMIS must be run, and this is only to view records. On the student subject record by class screen, select either the teacher or local classroom code option. In the corresponding dropdown, select teacher or course as appropriate and click search. An option here is to view a particular student's EMIS student subject records in the row of the student. Click the magnifying glass icon, and you can view that information. You can also view a particular student's course section assignments by clicking the second magnifying glass icon that is highlighted in the screenshot here. And that concludes EMIS maintenance. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to take a look at the documentation or submit a ticket for further clarification. Thank you.